Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Sweden or Bust! Oh, I believe my voice just broke there. If you've been enjoying the series so far, feel free to hit that like button or even subscribe for more updates and yummy goodness when Football Manager 15 comes out. Now, we have got ourselves some interesting results this month, and the main plan... Right, I will be right back. Apologies for that, guys. Right, yeah, as I was saying, the main plan for last month, the month we've just had, was to try and earn ourselves 13 points and get ourselves right back into the battle, and it should put us right back into the title race. Now, we started off this month there was only 5 games, so we needed to get some good results away at BK Häcken in the local derby, and I was desperate to get one over on them since they beat us here 1-0 last year, and I felt pretty bloody aggrieved at the way things had gone in that game, because I don't feel they were actually deserving of the result. This time round, we certainly didn't batter them like we had done in the past, but we were able to get the win, and that is the key. We just got an early goal from Emil Bellström, and when I reached the point in the second half that it looked like they were actually trying to come back out, I just shut the door on them, and they were actually playing quite well. They've had an alright start to the year, to be honest, so it was great for us to get away with a win, especially after Pekalski was given his marching orders for a second yellow card. Oh, no pun intended, because it wasn't a pun. It was just a coincidental name of thing, which is obviously why my channel's called that. Not because I commit minor fouls in succession. Anyway, so that was that. Moving along, though, we had Örebro, and once again proved that we are better than them, basically, in every single way, and that their season last year was sort of a blip on the radar of their overall performances. Although, we very nearly buggered this bugger up. We were so close to messing this one up. Neiman, again, put us in front around the 64-minute mark, and we deserved it because we were absolutely hammering them at this point. But when they scored an annoying goal, and I mean annoying because it was a tap-in that should never have been. After a ball came back off the crossbar, our defenders stood still and Hassani just nipped in and levelled for them with 4 minutes to go. I didn't expect anything, but Emil Salomonsson with an absolute belter, a volley from a corner no less, made it 2-1. And we, obviously that was only 1 minute stoppage time in the game, so that was it. And we were able to escape with yet another win, which clearly we are starting to get back on track. Now, this is going to be our highlighted game. I keep saying highlighted episode. It's really hard to not say that. Highlighted game for the episode, because it was a good game, and I really think we very nearly pulled the wool over on them in this one, and I was so disappointed that we couldn't do it. I will see you guys in the highlights. Right, so basically, against Malmö, my overall strategy was just to try and see what they did, and then we could try and play a sort of reactionary game. Unfortunately, it didn't take me very long to see what they were doing, and what they were doing was working. Our strategy just didn't have the legs against them early on, and when some nice work here from Rosenberg, drops it around the side to Kroon, and bang, 1-0 to Malmö. I then did make some changes, and very quickly, we found ourselves back in it in terms of stats. It took a little bit longer than that, though, for us to actually find a breakthrough in the game, and that was this. Salomonsson doing his brilliant work down the right, keeps hold of the ball nicely, into Malangu, back to Johansson, small ball through to sped by Dallins, and he's able to put us level, which was exactly what we needed at this point in the game. It was just before half-time, and I thought, right, go in at 1-1, we can try and build on this in the second half, because we were starting to get the better of the game at this point. We didn't even have to wait as long as that, because in first half stoppage time, ball was knocked through here to Malic, who dropped it off to Johansson, into Malangu, back as far as Bellström, but then we left to play down the wing, and we were exploiting, I believe it was the left-hand side of Malmö that we were exploiting today. Goosen's ball into Malic was cleared, but we kept the ball, and that's the key. Malic drops the ball back to Malangu, ball to Salomonsson, and he just drops it through for Malic, and he just settles this one with his feet. No big man stuff today, he just bashed that home. And that made it 2-1 to us. Great stuff. And I really did want to see if we could hang on to it. Unfortunately, we couldn't. We just couldn't quite do it. We had to settle in the end for a 2-2 draw because we lost the ball. Hagelin lost the ball in a really annoying place. He was only playing because obviously Pekalski got himself suspended. But it was this... We won the ball back and everything was good. But then a terrible ball there from... just glaring defensive errors. It was a mistake and a half and it cost us the game. Thankfully, we didn't lose because it keeps our little unbeaten run going, which was the key for us here. But we should have... I think we could have maybe hung on to that result, although they maybe deserved to get at least a point from the game. So maybe it was a fair result. Then we came up against Alvitabo, and, well, we basically did the exact same thing we did to them in the cup final, which was batter them. We were absolutely dominant in this game. Whatever strategy we were using, and I was tinkering quite a lot, was working. But it did take us until early in the second half for John Goosen's penalty to actually put us in front, because I was beginning to wonder if it was going to be another one of those days. And it looked like it was going to be very, very tight. I'd actually switched to a counter-attacking sort of tactic for the last few minutes of the game, and that just seemed to open them up. I don't know why. I think it sort of coaxed them out of their defensive zone, and the moment we won the ball back, we sprung on them twice, first with Malach and then with Emil Salomonsson again. Fullback, scoring like mad. He's playing a little bit like, I would say he's playing a little bit like Jesper Julsgaard in my Fulham save, but he's not, because Julsgaard mostly scores goals from set pieces. Salomonsson is just bombing forward and finding the net. Great player, this guy. If you're doing a save, pick up Salomonsson if you want to use a complete wing-back. He is a goal-scoring machine. I don't know what his finishing's like. 8. Surprising, actually. And he's only 26 years old, so he's pretty damn decent. He's got quite a few goals for us this year already, and I'm pretty pleased with him, especially as a fullback. So that was another win for us. And then we managed to go away to Bromma and sneak away, to be honest, with another win. This time Thomas Malech was the man with the goal, but Ivo Pakalski, upon coming back, was then injured in this game, which was irritating. Thankfully, we do have the likes of Sokolowski plus Hagland that can fill in those roles. It's just, I don't know, Hagland has just not looked great when he's had to play that role, so I prefer to play Sokolowski in there. We were better, but we did still have to defend. Late on in this game, I wasn't going to take the risk of us losing it, and I think that's what the difference is going to be for us this year. We're not going to concede as many late goals, because I am paying more attention and not just seeing, oh, well, we're beating them comfortably on the stats and we're beating them in the game, but we're only a goal up. And then the result of that is they go all out attacking for those last few minutes, and it costs us because I've not set up defensively enough at the right time in the game. So I am now sometimes going to be hanging on to these 1-0s and, yeah, doing well for our defensive side of things, which is good to see. Now, all of this basically means that we are third in the league. We're still 4 points from the lead. Despite that wonderful month and 13 points out of 15, we are still only 4 points. We're still 4 points from the top. We were 5 points from the top in the last episode. Helsingborg are really running away with it. They've not lost a game yet, and we have to play well against them in that home game, because that's going to be key. Elfsborg are also up there, as are AIK. But you'll notice now that there is a 10-point gap from 4th back to 5th, and that's where Kalmar, Häcken, Djurgården and Malmö are down in 8th place now, having an absolutely horrific season. And you'll also notice that down at the bottom, GAIS have kind of found their place now. They had that little spell in the last month where they got themselves briefly up to 14th, but now they are 5 points from anyone and have now conceded a buttload of goals. I think they've got 2 draws and 3 defeats in those games, whereas teams around them like Degerfors and Norrköping have been picking up some wins that month. Smedberg Dallas, though, is in the top assisters in the league, which is good to see. Now, looking at stats for this month, obviously we'll turn off that filter that always seems to pop up when we don't want it to. And you'll see Bellström, Albergay and Salomonsson with the most assists. Goals this month? Well, not goals this month. Goals overall. Neiman and Malech now with 9 and 8 respectively, but Goosens has also got 7, so I'm very pleased with him. And you'll notice that our 4th best goal scorer is our right back, so that's always good to see. That's actually very, very impressive. He's actually got more goals than Smedberg Dallas, who's just not really been cutting it as much this year, but he has played quite a few less games. Top assister? Well, that's Smedberg Dallas, though. So in the games he has played, he's been very prolific in terms of putting those balls in. So he's pretty much half responsible for most of Neiman's goals. Almost all the goals that Neiman scored have been great crosses from people like Dallas. It's just that we've been attacking down the left a little bit more this month, because that seems to be weak points in teams, according to the team reports, which I am taking into account now when looking at games. I'm looking at opposition rather than just ourselves. I'm looking at how we can play against them rather than what we can do reactively. Player of the match, Neiman and Malech now with 3 each. Neiman's had a bit of a quiet month, but he has had an injury and he's still injured at the moment, so that would explain his slight lack of game time, basically. I think he's played a couple of times this month, but not great. Not a great deal. He picked up a knock and unfortunately is now going to be out for a little while. It's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, I think, so he may not play in the next couple of games either. Pass completion. Pakalski now has an 87% pass completion ratio. He is brilliant. He's spraying that ball around really, really well in the games that he's played. Now, the key thing I'd like to point out is that other players that have come in and played that role are Hagland and, Sokolowski. So Hagland so far, pass completion, 80. Sokolowski, 77. That, for me, is the difference. he makes a hell of a difference as an anchor kind of player, just sitting in that position. Average rating, Neiman is still top, just barely over Salomonsson. But I'd say, looking at the number of games played, you'd have to give that to Salomonsson because he's been so consistent. But frankly, both of our fullbacks, Augustinsson and Salomonsson, have been insane. Their crossing ability, and the only thing that Ludwig Augustinsson is missing is a few goals. But hey, he just needs to get himself forward a bit more. Look at his shot on target percentage. His is 20, his is 56. That kind of sums it all up for us. Now, the one thing we do want to talk about before this episode is done is we need to look here at our Champions League second qualifying round. We have been drawn, finally. It doesn't take place until, is it next month? It must be next month. Yeah, both the ties will be in the next episode, so you'll see if we get through or not in the next episode. We've been drawn against FK Lovchen Cetinje? I don't know how to pronounce that. If you know how to pronounce that, then fair play to you. But they are a Montenegrin team who appear to be playing on what looks like a field. Just a field. Is there actually even any Oh yeah, there is, on the far side. But hey, credit to the people that make this stadium pack for actually having their stadium in it. Fair play to you. They are a professional club though, so we can't take them too lightly, although I do think they should be a relatively comfortable team to beat, and that's good because that means that we get a bye basically through to the next round of the qualifiers, and then I think there's still 2 more rounds if we win this game. If we win this round of qualifying, there's still 2 more until we get into the group stage, so it could still be bloody tough because as we go through League Champion qualifying, we could potentially meet some quite big sides from other leagues. We could end up being drawn against the likes of Red Bull Salzburg, and that is the one thing I don't want because they're a bloody good side with people like Jonathan Soriano and God knows who else in their team. They've got some decent, and the Berisha brothers, I think, are also both there too, so they've got some quality players. But we will find out how we do in that game in the next episode. If you've been liking the series, please hit that like button. If you liked it even more than that, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.